Hello, here is my presentation for AEP 879 Building Leadership Practicum, presented by me, Sandra Crawford. This is my table of contents page with all the required information. Personal introduction and goals. I currently teach 8th grade special education at Lincoln Middle School in Rio Rancho, New Mexico. I am highly qualified in math, science, history, and language arts. I teach my 8th grade students in a self-contained classroom. My goals are to eventually become an administrator for Rio Rancho schools or to work as a site specialist. The site specialist is a person who is in charge of the special education department and works closely with the administration in matters pertaining to special education students. Specifically, these matters include discipline of students with disabilities. My philosophy statement. My leadership philosophy involves 3 values: confidence, trust, and integrity. As a leader, I must have confidence in the decisions that I make for all staff members and students. Every decision would be carefully considered and would be based on what is the best interest of the community, school, and students. As a leader, I must also be trusted by those who work for me, but I must also trust the people I lead. I must be willing to trust others to implement programs that have the best interest of the school at heart, and at the same time I must trust my staff to learn by my example. Lastly, a leader must show integrity at all times. In this era of high-stakes testing and sometimes unrealistic expectations, I must never let the desire to outperform others or to make myself look better dictate my morals. Having integrity means that I may not always be the most popular, but it does mean that I will stand behind what I know is right and follow my heart for the betterment of all stakeholders. My major objective was to learn the skills needed to be a successful administrator through administrative duties and by modeling the leadership skills I had been taught. I was able to practice the skills I had been taught through my practicum and during activities that gave me the opportunity to practice these new skills. Specifically, I was very lucky to be able to work at 2 schools, which is Hope Connection High School and Lincoln Middle School. I was able to spend a lot of time with both of those administrators and learn about their different administrational duties. Here's my activity log. At the elementary level, slide numbers 1, 16, 24, 25, and 26. Secondary level, slide numbers 1 through 25 and 26. And at the district level, slide numbers 1, 16, 20, 25, and 26. As you can see, some of the activities commingled with elementary, secondary, and district. At the elementary level, I worked 6 hours. Secondary level, I worked 36 hours and 50 minutes. And at the district level, 5 hours and 30 minutes. Activity 1 was where I visited the Cyber Academy in Rio Rancho, New Mexico in order to advocate for a student who has autism and would like to attend the Cyber Academy. The Cyber Academy is an alternative school for students, and this particular student wants to attend the school but was told that he may not be successful since he does have autism. So I was able to visit the school and gain an understanding of this program and how the school works. My next activity was to keep in close contact with the students on my special education caseload, and this is to ensure that their IEP accommodations are being followed and that students can be academically successful with these accommodations. I print progress reports for my students at least every 3 weeks and remind them to check on their grades, ask their teachers for help, and to be a self-advocate. My next activity is to provide information to students about different types of disabilities. We had a student who had Tourette's syndrome, and so the school decided to present a video about Tourette's syndrome and also different disabilities, and that way we can teach students to tolerate, understand, and accept others. Activity 4 was a weekly drawing that we hold at Lincoln Middle School. This program is based on positive behavior supports. So I was able to collect the information from teachers and draw the names for students who can win prizes for showing positive behavior in the hallways. Activity 5 was an activity that occurred in Lincoln Middle School while I was in the cafeteria. A student had left their wallet on the table and was missing $5 and the wallet when they returned. So we did end up finding the wallet hidden behind the water fountain. However, it was missing the $5. So Through investigation and using the school cameras, we were able to find the students who committed the crime. Activity 6 had to do with rumor mongering. A former student had posted a message on Instagram stating that they were coming to school to give Lincoln students a big surprise. I heard about this message, immediately reported it. It was then investigated, and because of my practicum, I was able to help in that investigation process. As a result, I learned that anytime something occurs, it's important to investigate, no matter how big or small. Activity 7 was when I worked with students on a program called Naviance. This program is used at the end of 8th grade through graduation to assist students in high school registration. I help register and supervise over 300 students throughout the school day to get them ready for high school. My next activity was a PowerPoint, which was presented to all 8th grade students about elective choices for next year. This is activity 9 that was completed at Hope Connection School. We were recently evaluated in order to be accredited for the next 5 years. One of the areas we were working on was our mission and vision statement, and I did work with the school board to improve the education of our students by specifically addressing the changing culture in our community and the importance of recognizing and respecting different cultures. Activity 10 was my attendance at a PBS meeting after school. PBS again stands for Positive Behavior Support. In this meeting, we discussed having students take more accountability for their behavior. A reflection worksheet was suggested so that if a student received a referral, the student could also fill out a sheet that would give them some insight into what they did and why. My next activity is an email that I sent to all staff members every Friday. The information I emailed is an accumulation of school events for the upcoming month. This is a way I can keep track of all the school activities that take place. I ask members of the school to email me, and I put the information together and send it out to the entire staff. For activity 12, I attended a meeting of the School Advisory Council, or the SAC. The SAC advises school principals on budgets, curriculum rules, and policies. I was able to attend this meeting and was able to understand how this process works. Activity 13 is when I took over the morning duty for the assistant principal. My duty included checking to make sure that everybody was at their station, that they were wearing their orange vest if they were on the crosswalk. So I made my rounds. I checked the bus drop-off area to make sure that no students were between the portables, and then I went out to the main patio to supervise the majority of 960 students who hang outside before the bell rings. Activity 14 is my participation in the school health fair. This was at the district elementary and secondary level, since we had students from all grade levels attending. I supervised students in the gym 2 days before the health fair. We also helped set up for the health fair, and I supervised 40 students as they set up tables and games. During the health fair, I spoke with many parents and students who attended, and also helped clean up and lock down the facilities at the end of the event. Activity 15 was my attendance at a parent meeting for a student who was failing 3 out of 4 core classes. As an educational leader, we made a decision to have the student attend 2 out of 5 lunch days to work on his homework in the hopes that the student would take responsibility for his actions. Activity 16 was my attendance at an 8th grade meeting while shadowing the assistant principal. This meeting discussed a student who is already on a behavior plan. The school social worker and the gifted teacher in collaboration put together a progress monitoring sheet and shared it with the other 8th grade teachers in the hopes of getting this student's behavior on track. Activity 17 was also during my shadowing with the assistant principal, where we called in a student who had been written up for disrupting class, refusing to work, and constantly getting out of her seat. The student admitted to not listening, was given 2 days in school suspension, and the parents were called. Activity 18 had to do with the student council at Hope Connection School and raising money for the Dragon Cafe. Activity 19 is completed at Hope Connection School, where I spoke with 2 students who were arguing at school, and we came to an agreement for the students not to argue at school, and if they had an issue they needed to speak with the director. Activity 20 was my creation of the Hope Connection School newsletter that was posted on the school website and also mailed to parents of our students. This newsletter contained information about the cost and dates of summer school registration for next year, progress reports, and general information such as a school calendar and other reminders. Activity 21 is a phone call I made with a teacher who was inquiring about her son's grades, and the parent who has had a negative relationship with the staff has continued to have a negative relationship with the staff, so I volunteered to help make this phone call with the teacher in order to provide support and guidance. Activity 22 was working on a technology plan for Hope Connection High School. Activity 23 was attending a support group for families of students with autism. This was at the elementary, secondary, and district. Activity 24 was attending a preschool program in the district that is similar to Head Start. And Activity 25 was attending a park above spectacular at Haynes Park, which is a park that is designed exclusively for, I should say it's designed for inclusively for students of all ages and abilities. And my last activity was attending an IEP at Cielo Azul Elementary School for a 5th grade student who is attending Lincoln Middle School next year. So as a result, I learned that education administration is not a simple job. I learned that the principal is in charge of the budget and the management of staff, but I also learned that there's so much more into it than what we think. I think anyone who has a child in school or thinks an administrator's job is easy should spend a day with them. They might have a lot to learn. My summary reflection is that I had plenty of opportunity to practice skills in order to learn about leadership and student success. As I moved through each activity, I began to understand more about my role as an administrator and what it plays in the function at a school. An administrator manages a school, but also plays a crucial role in the delicate balance between students, parents, and the community. An administrator definitely wears many hats, which is why the ISLLC standards are so important. This is my annotated bibliography with books that I have on leadership, my summative evaluation form signed, stating that I completed my practicum. And here's some additional documentation. This is a picture of Haynes Park, a park above, the park that is inclusive for students with and without disabilities. A sample of my parent contact log, which is 14 pages long. I only put one page here. Copy of the Student Advisory Council meeting, the SAC meeting. Copy of the Positive Behavior Support meeting. A flash of the Cyber Academy school website. And the Lincoln Middle School sign for the first day of school, August 16th. Friday forecast that I send out to all staff. And the Act of Kindness Day that I attended at Haynes Park. I hope you enjoyed my presentation. Have a great evening.